Mac Jones throws another poorly timed interception toward the end of the half as they were trailing, trying to get something going at the end of the half. The Patriots defense, although, had no answer for Tua and the motion-filled Dolphins offense as Tua threw for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns. This we talked about. Mac Jones, quarterback, should he be gone? Bill Belichick, should he be fired? This one, this seems to be a reoccurring theme here. Did this game have to do more with the Patriots' potential deficiencies all across their team, or do the Dolphins just simply have Belichick and the Patriots' number?
Well, obviously, you could say that the Dolphins have the Patriots' number in Miami, right? They haven't won down there in many years now.
I think it was 2019.
2019 since they won when Brady was the quarterback. So, yeah, they got their number down there, that's for sure. And I would say that Tua has their number too, right? He's played him 6 times now, won every game.
6-0.
And I don't think that's ever happened to Belichick, have a quarterback beat him 6 times in a row. So I do think, though, that in this game, the Patriots had some bad luck. I mean, they had there were 2 penalties that were called, which I thought were very bad calls, and Belichick was livid, and he had the right to be, right? And it was bad luck. I mean, there was J.C. Jackson in the here it is. Look at this. That's pass interference? Come on. He hardly touched him. I can't believe they called pass interference on that. Look. He wasn't hanging on to him. He was just touching his back. That's not pass interference. I'm sorry. That's a bad call. Very bad call. And then the second call was a tackle on Devontae Parker. It was a helmet spear. Watch this. Boom. His helmet right in his face mask. And Parker had to leave the game. That's look, right there. Look at that. They didn't call that? That's bad. The Patriots are driving there. You know? They could have had 15 yards more. They would have been right down in scoring position. That's terrible. I mean, I'm sure the league knows they got that wrong, both of those calls. And did you see any bad calls against the Dolphins? Was there any the Dolphins? There weren't calls that the Patriots got a good break on. There were none. So I felt bad for the Patriots based on those 2 calls. Those had an impact on the game. They definitely did, both those plays.
If I'm not mistaken, there was one call where they called a legal man downfield, and then they rescinded that penalty. I might be wrong about that, but I thought that's what happened. I think it was early on in the game. The Dolphins got a penalty for a legal man downfield, and then they picked it up. I may be wrong.
That was wrong too. I forgot that one. He was down the field. Yeah. He was way down the field.
Yeah. So it was rough.
I mean, that way that penalty works, you have to wait for the ball's thrown, right?
Ball's thrown.
Yeah. So
you could be 1 yard downfield. I think you could be
1 yard,
beyond
but
1 yard.
If the ball hasn't been thrown.
I think it was 2 or 3 yards downfield, though.
It looked like he was down even more than that. That was another bad call. I don't know. I thought that was. I'm sure. And Belichick was livid, and rightfully so.
Oh, he was barking for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He wouldn't stop. So I want to break down one particular clip before I jump in on this. This was another time where things didn't work out perfectly. The offensive line wasn't protecting Mac Jones all that great. He did have more time than he's had previously, but he didn't have, uber amounts of time to throw the ball and step into his throws. I'm going to bring up the interception. They were driving late in the first half, right before the half was about to end, and Mac Jones decided to make a very poorly timed throw. So originally, bottom of your screen, that's Devontae Parker. Pop Douglas goes into motion, and that's his check down. That's his first look. Then he looks at Devontae Parker, and Jalen Ramsey nearly houses this. My problem is not with the throw. Not with the location of the throw. It was the timing of the throw. Because if he simply looks at that, waves it off, and then immediately looks to Devontae Parker, that's a completion. He took way too long with the check down. He sort of hesitates with the check down, takes another step back, and then throws it to it might have been Kendrick Bourne. I think it was Devontae Parker, but he had an opportunity. He's wide open. It's Kendrick Bourne?
Yeah.
Sorry, Kendrick Bourne. He was open. He was open. If you simply just throw off Pop Douglas and say, okay, yeah, he's not open, that check
show the
there.
one where Ramsey is running down the field. He had his back to the play, right? He had his back to the play. He was chasing the... Watch this. Yeah.
Oh, no, I'll tell you this right now. Beautiful
Ramsey,
coverage.
There's Ramsey. He's running down the field. Oh, I'm sorry. Do it once more.
What, you want this one or?
No, the one that shows Ramsey running down the field after the receiver, then stopping and turning back.
But that would be the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's a beautiful coverage play. He fakes out.
Ramsey, then he was watching the quarterback.
No, it's absolutely beautiful.
He watches the quarterback all the way down. He's running down, but he's looking back.
Yeah.
You're right. If Mac Jones had thrown the ball a second sooner, it would have been complete.
That's 100. No, and it was a great play because he was trailing Devontae Parker up the field because Mac that immediately, because it's a quick route, that takes Devontae Parker out of the play entirely if Jalen Ramsey's on him immediately. Then you look at Pop Douglas, who's in motion. You see that safety or that cornerback dropping down to cover Pop Douglas, so it's either an insane hit and a loss of yards or it's an incomplete pass. If it were me, you see that when you look over to him, you see that defensive back coming down. You wave Pop Douglas off, and then you look at that second guy, who Kendrick Bourne at the time was wide open because Jalen Ramsey didn't make his turn back to Bourne at that time. So the decision to throw it to Kendrick Bourne was the right decision. Decision making is perfect. It's fine. I have no problem with it. The timing of the throw, and I'll say this. You bring this up a lot. You bring up a version of this. You're right. He does rainbow throw it, the lofting throw. He also likes to, knuckleball. He's got to just lay it in there. No real juice.
A lot
no
of
real
his
spin.
throws are high. They're
the
rising.
risers. Yeah,
he has a rising throw.
But not only that, they're like lofting it over. He's not putting a lot of spin on, not a lot of juice
if he'd thrown
on
it, you know what? If he'd really zipped it in there, he might have gotten it in there anyway.
There's a chance of that.
He did throw it kind of a lofting throw.
Right.
He should have thrown it harder.
But this was another example of why the Patriots need work. They need work on all facets of the game. Here's another thing, right? We talked about it. It was very weird. When there was an opportunity, Christian Gonzalez goes down. A few days later, all right, let's go, J.C. Jackson, you're back in the building. They have no great. They extend Juju, or they sign Juju to a 3-year deal. They extend Devontae Parker. Juju with an injury history. Devontae Parker, who's horrible at separating. What do we see? J.C. Jackson got absolutely cooked in this game. He was the lowest graded defensive player in this entire game. He played horrible. Played absolutely horrible. A grading of 28.8. He had 9 targets, by far more than any other Patriots defensive back in this game. One more than Jonathan Jones, who also did not have a great game. 5 catches for 94 yards, and here's the big one: he gave up 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. It was pretty brutal. His coverage was not very good. If you had Christian Gonzalez, might be a different story. But I think it was like the very, very last touchdown.
You know what they said about that? They said that J.C. Jackson, being a really big guy, right?
Yeah.
He's better in press coverage than he is in zone. And the Patriots are playing a lot of zone, and that's just not his forte. They should be press man coverage, and that's better for J.C. Jackson.
Well, I'll say this. You can't play zone against Tyreek Hill.
They shouldn't have been in zone at all. I don't know why they were playing zone. It's the same thing with Travis
Kelce. You can't play zone because guess what?
They should have stuck with man. They were doing much better with man defense.
Right. But with great receivers like Kelce, I understand he's a tight end, but he's a phenomenal receiving tight end. These guys will find holes in your zone, and then basically Tua just shoved it down to Tyreek Hill's throat. The last touchdown, there was motion, no communication from the Patriots defensive backs. Walk-in touchdown for the Dolphins. I think it was the very, very last touchdown the Dolphins had. There was motion out to the right. I forgot who were the 2 defensive backs, but there was no communication on who's guarding who. You had the inside receiver just do a simple post route, inside, easy throw, easy touchdown.
Yeah. Well, I'll say one more thing about this. We're beating up on the defensive backs here.
Oh, the offense is terrible.
But the defensive linemen didn't do so hot either. There's no pressure on Tua. Although Tua gets it out really quickly. There was a lot of comments on that. He throws with under 2 seconds generally.
It was 2.1 in this game.
Yeah. So he he gets the ball out quickly, but you got to get some pressure on him.
Right.
They got nothing. The
exact number.
That's where they missed Judon. I mean, losing Judon, very big for the Patriots.
Absolutely. Also, Josh Uche being hurt also does not help you whatsoever. I think he had, 11 and a half sacks last year? He had a phenomenal... Somehow he didn't make the Pro Bowl.
He hasn't doing much this year. He hasn't done much.
Well, when you're injured, you can't really do much.
Juwan Bentley got hurt in this game, too.
Yeah. But I'll say this. To put an actual number on just how bad that pass rush was, 12.5% of his dropbacks, too, was pressured. No pressure.
No pressure.
6 out of his 48 dropbacks.
And now Kendrick Bourne is out for the season.
Kendrick Bourne tore ACL.
So what's going to happen there? What are they going to do for receivers? There's going to be Juju and Parker, or are they going to be the starting? Although Parker got hurt too, I may have got a concussion.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty bad injury. But I'll say this: that was probably just like Jimmy G with the 49ers last season. This is probably the worst thing that could possibly happen to Kendrick Bourne because just how Belichick works. Kendrick Bourne was trade rumors all the time from last year into this year. Trade rumor. Kendrick Bourne is probably, let's be honest, I completely disagree with this, but it's such a Belichickian move. Bourne will be gone next season. Bourne will be gone. I call it Damian Harris will be gone. Kendrick Bourne will probably be gone next season, and that is a horrible choice. Your wide, they're not actually, but your wide receiver 1 and 2, Devontae Parker and Juju, those should be the receivers that need to go. Keep Kendrick Bourne, keep Pop. Kayshon Boutte, we've seen in week 1. We haven't seen him since. I believe he was actually hurt in week 2. He's been a healthy scratch ever since. You put in Jalen Reagor, who is largely considered a bust for his entire NFL career so far.
I don't get that.
Bring him up from the practice squad. Tyquan Thornton doesn't seem like he's doing anything. I understand he was on IR for the first 3-4 weeks. But still, these receivers aren't really all that great. Kendrick Bourne was your... By the way, I'll say this again. Another layer to add to that why I think Kendrick Bourne's gone. Just like Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers was Mac Jones' security blanket. Third down, who are you throwing it to? Jacoby Myers. In this season, Kendrick Bourne has been, I think, the highest targeted receiver that Mac Jones... he's Mac Jones' security blanket. Just based on the trend of how things work, he's going to be gone.
He's gone.
I completely disagree with
I think
it.
the reason Myers went is because of that pass he threw in the Raiders game last year that was intercepted for a touchdown.
You still think Belichick is that pity?
I do.
That
he
petty,
is. He's done it before. He did it to, what's his name?
Was it Wes Welker?
Wes Welker, yeah. He did it to Wes Welker for dropping that pass that would have sealed the Super Bowl. And he's gone.
I still think it was because of contract, but you know what? You definitely have that opinion. You're sticking by it. I'll give you that. You definitely sticking by that. So now the report out by Albert Breer today is they are really honing in outside of Caleb Williams because that's obviously probably going to be the first overall pick. However, they haven't at the moment, but they are looking at 2024 top tier quality prospects at the quarterback position. I don't necessarily love it. I think you still have 1 year on Mac Jones' rookie contract. You may draft one just to say, hey, you're probably going to be gone. Or you may trade him away. I don't know exactly what you do. But all I know is this team has a bigger problem than quarterback. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I agree with that.
You see what Mac Jones does with you don't pressure him on 40% of his dropbacks, cut that in half at 20%. He tears up the Bills defense and leads a beautiful game-winning drive. And by the way, look at that game-winning drive again. I'm pretty sure 3 or 4 of his passes, he was less than a half second away from either getting strip-sacked or just getting sacked in general. He was throwing balls when there were guys right to his left and right of him, but he wasn't getting killed all game, so he had the confidence to step into his throws.
No, they need to invest more time and effort and higher draft picks in the offensive line.
The offensive line is a major issue.
Trade for a really good offensive lineman, I think, They got to invest. That's been a problem now for a couple of years. They've got to do better there for sure.
And I'll say this again because I know people are going to keep saying it. Bailey Zappi is not the answer. He got waived. He got put in. Literally, he got waived. Malik Cunningham replaced him as QB2.
They dropped him.
Then they dropped him again. But you're telling me that you're going to go from waived, anyone could take you, to then being to then being the backup, to then getting demoted to emergency quarterback 3. To then going back to the backup. If Mac Jones is playing this poorly...
He is back to the backup now, right?
Yes. But what I'm saying is that if Mac Jones is really that bad, for you to get waived, get demoted, get waived, then get promoted back to backup quarterback, then get demoted, then get promoted back again, and you don't even have a chance to start, how bad are you?
Yeah. Well, I think they understand he's not the answer. So
amen to that. So
yeah.
all I'm saying is the quarterback.
I haven't totally given up
Patriots,
on Mac Jones, I must say.
Last year you were ripping.
Yeah,
him.
I was, but I've changed my mind a little bit on him. I think he's suffered from the offensive line being poor, and Bill O'Brien not really getting off to a really good start as offensive coordinator. He's been doing a little better lately. They have been able to run the ball a little bit.
Right.
But, Mac Jones made one bad mistake in this game last week. He threw that interception. And other than that, you look at his stats, 19 for 29, 2 TDs, and that interception. So he didn't have that many yards this game. But you look at Tua, 30 of 45, 324 yards. I mean, the Patriots' defense was a big reason why they lost this game.
I would say
right?
you gave up way too many big-time plays. There were receivers.
They couldn't get off the field on third down. They had so many third downs. There were a lot of third downs. They just couldn't. They could not stop them.
The actual.
They had that
chance.
They had the chance late in the game. They came back. They were within one touchdown.
Yeah.
They had third down, and pretty long and deep in the Dolphins' territory there. And they gave up the third down pass play. You got to be better than that. They know he's going to pass it. You got to get some pass rush in there. They don't have the pass rush. They just don't have it. That's why they missed Judon.
I'll one-up you there. Not only did they do, I would say they didn't do great. They went 5 of 14 on third down, but I'll say this. They did not respect your defense. They went for it 3 times on fourth down and went 3 for 3.
Yeah.
They do not respect your defense whatsoever, and rightfully so. Guys were getting cooked. There were receivers who were catching the ball with no receiver on the TV screen. And the TV wides out to like 5-6 yards.
In the end, the Patriots had a chance to tie that game up. They went down there and they scored that touchdown. They were within one touchdown. They had plenty of time. They just couldn't stop. They couldn't stop the Dolphins, and they had them on third down several times.
Yeah,
and a long distance. They would have had to punt, and they couldn't do it. Yeah. And that's the game.
I would say it doesn't. I don't care if it's Mac Jones. I don't care if it's the defense. Somebody has got to make a play at some point in the Bills game. You may say it was the very first offensive play for the Bills with that Jabril Peppers interception. That would have been the play to get something going there. You could argue that was the turning point for that game. Immediately, the Bills don't score a touchdown after the Patriots only scored a field goal, so the Patriots aren't trailing and always playing from behind. They got an interception, then they go out and score a touchdown. You're up by 10. You have to someone has to make a play. I don't care who it is. If it's a Pharaoh Brown 58-yard touchdown, great. If it's a Kendrick Bourne 65-yard touchdown, great. If it's a Kyle Duggar interception for 24-yard run back, phenomenal. Someone's got to make a play. And no one's really stepping up and making that big time play to flip it around.
Hadn't had the turnovers this year. Haven't gotten the turnovers that they got last year. They had like 30 turnovers last year. Right. It's not having Judon in there is a big issue.
And
he's their star player.
Kyle Duggar had an interception, but I'm talking about getting the morale up, getting them just get something going.
Yeah.
And no one can do that right now. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.